So marijuana is officially being rescheduled from a Schedule 1 substance here in the United States to a Schedule 3 substance. And in this video, I want to go over what information, what do we know as of right now? This just recently happened. What information do we have? What are the implications of this rescheduling? Before I do, in the comments of this video, please let me know what you think one line will do. Do you think this was the right move? Do you think they should have done more? Or do you think marijuana should have stayed a Schedule 1 substance? All right, so let's get into what we know up to now. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you just clips from the over a half-hour long press conference that Donald Trump, Dr. Oz, various other scientists, researchers, doctors had at the White House during this executive order signing, so that you don't have to watch the whole thing. But if you do, it is up in its entirety on various channels here on YouTube. So first off, this executive order signed on 12/18 does not immediately move marijuana from a Schedule 1 substance to a Schedule 3 substance. As of the posting of this video, marijuana is still a Schedule 1 substance. What this executive order did was direct the Attorney General to expedite the completion of the process of rescheduling marijuana to a Schedule 3 substance. So what it effectively did was bypass the administrative rule hearing that stalled the process under the Biden original plan, that original plan of rescheduling marijuana under Biden that was started by Joe Biden heck, years ago at this point, got stalled out. And this executive order basically says, forget that rulemaking process that stalled this rescheduling process out. We are just going to move forward and get it rescheduled. So that brings up the obvious question then, when will marijuana actually become a Schedule 3 substance? When will it move from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3? And there are already estimates out there that this process, and there are a lot of factors, moving a drug that was seen as having no value whatsoever, being highly addictive, etc., to a prescription medication. So there are estimates that this process could take anywhere from 3 months all the way up to 6 months. So then once this process is completed, let's say it's completed sometime, and we'll give the government even a little bit more time. Let's say it's completed sometime in June of 2026. Once this process is complete, what are the impacts that we know up to this point? All right, first off, Trump explicitly said, it was one of the first things he said in his press conference, and I'll show you the clip here in just a second. He is strictly against recreational drugs of any kind. So this is not using marijuana recreationally. This is not legalizing marijuana at a recreational level. Again, he has stated that he is against drugs. He is against alcohol. He said this many times on many different podcasts and other media outlets. And it's very personal to him because he had a brother that dealt with addiction. Take a look at this clip.
I want to emphasize that the order I am about to sign is not the legalization, or it doesn't legalize marijuana in any way, shape, or form, and in no way sanctions its use as a recreational drug. It has nothing to do with it. Just as the prescription painkillers may have legitimate uses, but can also do irreversible damage and never, if you look at some of the damage that can be caused, wreck lives, and if it's abused, it's never safe to use powerful controlled substances in recreational manners.
All right, so if it's not about using marijuana recreationally, what is it about? Well, first, it's about being able to perform research on marijuana more easily. It's very difficult to perform research on Schedule 1 substances because they are completely banned federally in the United States. So they need to find out, is THC safe? Is it addictive? Is it effective for treatment, etc.? Take a look at this clip.
This rescheduling has the potential to change all of that and to rewrite the way that we do research related to cannabis in the United States in 3 ways. First of all, it'll democratize the research process so that all academic institutions can participate in research, not just elite academic medical centers. Number 2, it'll give patients and researchers access to highly refined, reliable sources of cannabis rather than relying on 1 or 2 sources around the country. And last but not least, it'll let us do the sorts of large-scale randomized controlled trials that we do in oncology and cardiology. Not dozens of patients, but hundreds or thousands of patients. That's how we learn. That's how we produce valuable knowledge that's useful in guiding treatment decisions.
All right, and number 2 is cannabis-related businesses will now be able to take tax deductions, get loans easier, get loans cheaper, and use a variety of other banking services that were basically prohibited up to this point, and they still are. Again, marijuana is still Schedule 1 as of right now, the posting of this video, but they're prohibited from using these banking services because they were dealing in a Schedule 1 substance. And number 3 is marijuana will now be accepted more as a medicine. And Dr. Oz spoke specifically about using marijuana potentially as an alternative option to other medications. Here's that clip.
Who are saying that they've got problems and they got relief from some of the solutions we're talking about today. Howard Kessler, who's standing behind me here, who's a mutual friend of ours, was an early caller of the president. Many others have ever reached out as well. And Howard's been a passionate advocate for avoiding narcotics, especially in seniors, and particularly seniors suffering from cancer. And that's a population that is a very important one, and it's a sympathetic population that's desirous of trying new ways besides some of the conventional approaches that have been tested by pharmaceutical companies but have untoward side effects.
And Dr. Oz also stated that CBD would now be covered under Medicare. Check this out.
The Innovation Center models are going to allow millions of Americans on Medicare to become eligible to receive CBD as early as April of next year, and at no charge.
So those are just 3 potential benefits of rescheduling marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. But that got me thinking, and I've been thinking about this for some time now, but now this is actually happening. There are some elephants in the room that they are going to have to sort out. And elephant in the room number 1 is going to be what happens in recreational states. In some states here in the United States, marijuana, while still federally illegal, is legal recreationally, meaning you can just walk in basically and buy marijuana. So now that they are moving marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, they're basically saying that there is a lesser chance for abuse of marijuana and that it has more of a medical value, but it is going to become a prescription drug. That's what Dr. Oz stated. That's what Donald Trump stated. It's going to become a prescription medication. So what happens in recreational states? There is no other drug that I am aware of that you need a prescription for. A doctor must write you a prescription in order for you to be able to obtain it in most states or across the country. And then in some states, that same substance you can just walk into a store and buy. There's no other substance like this. So they are definitely going to have to figure that out. And then the other thing is what happens with drug testing. And I'll have a full video coming up probably next week where I deep dive into the potential changes for drug testing. Nothing is going to change right now. Marijuana in the drug test that marijuana is included in, marijuana will still be included. But the one potential change that I could see is that, again, potentially, and I'm speculating here, is that similarly to other drugs that might cause a false positive. And I'll give you the most common example that I see is Adderall. If you are prescribed taking Adderall, that can make you test positive for amphetamines. But if you have the prescription and you're in the therapeutic dose, meaning when you test positive, they know exactly how much is in your system, you can take that prescription to the medical review officer. The medical review officer will review the test, review your prescription, and he can change that result, even though you test positive for an amphetamine, to a negative result because you're taking that prescription drug legally. So will that potentially be possible with a marijuana prescription? Well, the big catch to that is we don't know. There's no research yet, or there's no standard, I guess I should say, of what the therapeutic medical dose for marijuana for a particular disease is. So that's where the research comes in. We need to establish this is the therapeutic dose for marijuana for a particular disease. And then potentially, if you test positive for marijuana, but you have a prescription for marijuana and you're in the therapeutic range when the MRO reviews that positive result, he can look at the prescription, he can look at the test result, and potentially change that positive THC result to a negative result. And finally, I just want to share a kind of a funny anecdote that happened during this press conference that Donald Trump held during the signing of this executive order. But before I do, I really want to give a big shout out and a thanks to all of the members of this channel. With all of the crazy policies, monetization policies that YouTube has around drug-related content, the YouTube members really help keep this channel going. All right, so just a funny anecdote at the end of the press conference. Donald Trump, as he likes to do, as he's inclined to do, took questions from the reporters who were in the room with him after basically he spoke, Dr. Oz spoke, everybody else spoke. He took questions, and he probably took 20 questions, and only one question pertained to marijuana rescheduling. They spent all this time, they probably spent 20 minutes talking about marijuana rescheduling. The experts gave their opinion, and only one question at the end pertained to the rescheduling of marijuana. So what does this mean? Does this mean that people actually don't really care about this subject? They're not interested in this subject? I, and probably most people watching this video, we're kind of in this bubble where this kind of stuff matters to us. This subject matter matters to us. I mean, it's a big part of what I do. I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy researching these videos, and I was really hoping for some of the press to ask some of the questions and maybe get some answers to these elephants in the room questions that I have. There are really no pertinent questions asked about anything related to the rescheduling of marijuana. Again, there was one real simple question, but really it was kind of a blow-off question. Really, really odd. So I will leave you with just a little bit of advice. Nothing has changed. So my advice that I state basically in every video still holds true. If you've got an upcoming drug test and you're concerned about testing positive for THC marijuana, home test yourself so you know where you stand, and also just check out our free, 100% free masterclass that shows you how to be best prepared to take and hopefully pass a drug test specifically for THC. Both of those links will be in the description of this video. I will be back with more updates. Stay tuned. Until next time, everybody, stay safe.